The Los Angeles Lakers are entering a critical week ahead of the NBA trade deadline on February 5th, with general manager Rob Pelinka actively working the phones to upgrade the roster. According to NBA insider Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, Cleveland Cavaliers forward DeAndre Hunter has emerged as the top priority on the Lakers' wish list. Siegel stated that the Lakers are highly active in trade discussions, specifically targeting a 3-and-D wing player, with Hunter sitting at the very top of their list. This revelation comes as the franchise faces mounting pressure to address defensive weaknesses that have plagued them throughout the season. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Hunter, who spent most of his NBA career with the Atlanta Hawks before being traded to Cleveland last season, represents exactly the type of player the Lakers desperately need. The Cavaliers paid a significant price to acquire him, sending Caris LeVert, George Niang, 3 second-round draft picks, and 2 pick swaps to Atlanta. This substantial investment makes it uncertain whether Cleveland would be willing to move him again so soon, but the Lakers remain determined to explore the possibility. The question now becomes what the Cavaliers would demand in return, especially after sacrificing so many assets to bring Hunter aboard just 1 year ago. In 42 regular season games during the current campaign, Hunter has averaged 13.9 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per contest. His shooting percentages tell an interesting story, as he's connecting on 42.2% of his field goal attempts while struggling somewhat from beyond the arc at 30.9%, marking a career low from three-point range. Despite the shooting difficulties, his defensive capabilities and versatility make him an attractive option for a Lakers team currently ranked among the league's worst defensive squads. The Lakers have been linked to several other 3-and-D wing options throughout the trade deadline rumor mill. New Orleans Pelicans defenders Herb Jones and Trey Murphy III have been mentioned as primary targets, though acquiring either player would likely prove extremely difficult given the Pelicans' reluctance to part with their best defensive assets. Additionally, names like Najee Marshall, Dante DiVincenzo, and Keon Ellis have surfaced in various trade discussions. However, none have been reported to be as high on the Lakers' priority list as Hunter. To make a trade work financially, Los Angeles would likely need to package players with expiring contracts. Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Maxi Kleber are all potential pieces that could be included in trade conversations. The Lakers front office must balance the desire to improve immediately with the need to preserve future flexibility, especially with larger moves potentially on the horizon during the offseason. Coach JJ Redick has been vocal about the team's defensive struggles, and adding a player like Hunter could provide immediate relief. Although Giannis Antetokounmpo trade rumors continue to dominate headlines across the league, the Lakers understand that landing the Milwaukee Bucks superstar before the deadline would require assets they simply don't possess at this moment. That reality has shifted focus toward more realistic targets like Hunter, players who can make an immediate impact without mortgaging the franchise's entire future. The front office appears to be taking a measured approach, weighing the benefits of smaller upgrades now versus saving assets for a potential blockbuster move in the summer. With just 7 days remaining before the trade deadline, time is running out for the Lakers to make their move. The organization has made it clear that standing pat is not an option, as the current roster construction has proven insufficient to compete with the elite teams in the Western Conference. Whether Hunter ultimately ends up in purple and gold remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the Lakers are actively working behind the scenes to improve their chances of contending for a championship this season. The next week will reveal whether they can successfully land their top target, or if they'll need to pivot to alternative options. As the Los Angeles Lakers navigate through the second half of their season, questions about LeBron James's future beyond this year continue to grow louder with each passing game. The 41-year-old superstar has been characteristically vague about his plans after the current campaign concludes, keeping both fans and front office executives guessing about whether he'll return for another season or finally hang up his sneakers. Now, a surprising development has emerged from his former team, adding another layer of intrigue to the ongoing speculation surrounding the NBA's all-time leading scorer. According to ESPN's Dave McMenamin, the Cleveland Cavaliers would gladly welcome James back for a potential third stint with the franchise if he decides to continue playing basketball next season. Multiple team and league sources confirmed to ESPN that the Cavaliers organization would embrace the opportunity to bring their greatest player home for what could be his final NBA campaign. This revelation came as the Cavaliers prepared to host James and the Lakers at Rocket Arena, a game that held special emotional significance given the possibility that it might represent his last appearance as a visitor in Cleveland. The timing of this potential reunion carries tremendous symbolic weight. James, who was drafted by Cleveland with the first overall pick in the 2003 NBA draft, has already enjoyed 2 legendary tenures with the Cavaliers. His first stint lasted from 2003 until 2010, when he famously left for the Miami Heat in a decision that created shockwaves throughout the basketball world. He returned to Cleveland in 2014 and delivered on his promise, leading the franchise to its first and only NBA championship during the 2015-16 season. That championship run, which saw the Cavaliers overcome a 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors, remains one of the most iconic achievements in NBA history. The Cavaliers currently boast a roster that features all-star guard Donovan Mitchell and talented big man Evan Mobley, creating an intriguing foundation that could potentially support James in a reduced role. Mitchell has emerged as the face of the franchise, averaging impressive numbers while leading Cleveland to playoff contention. Mobley's development as a versatile defensive anchor and emerging offensive threat provides the kind of young talent that could complement James's veteran leadership. The question remains whether the Cavaliers possess the financial flexibility to make such a signing work, as adding James's substantial salary to their current payroll would require creative maneuvering. James's relationship with Cleveland extends far beyond basketball statistics and championships. As an Akron native, he represents the city in ways that transcend sports, serving as a symbol of hometown pride and perseverance. His commitment to the community through various philanthropic initiatives, including the I Promise School, has cemented his legacy in Northeast Ohio regardless of where he finishes his playing career. A return to Cleveland would allow him to retire where his journey began, creating a storybook ending that would resonate with fans who have followed his career from its earliest days. However, the Cavaliers aren't the only franchise positioning themselves for a potential James sweepstakes this summer. The Golden State Warriors have also been mentioned as a possible destination, with reports suggesting they would pursue the future Hall of Famer in free agency if he becomes available. The prospect of James teaming up with Stephen Curry would create another super team scenario, though whether that appeals to a player who might prefer to finish his career on more sentimental terms remains uncertain. James has repeatedly emphasized his desire to compete for championships, making it clear that any decision about his future will be influenced by his assessment of which situation gives him the best chance to add to his legacy. The Lakers, meanwhile, find themselves in an awkward position as these rumors swirl. While the organization has publicly stated its hope that James retires as a Laker, the reality of their current situation suggests that both sides might benefit from a parting of ways. The franchise needs to build around younger stars like Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and James's massive salary could be redirected toward pieces that better fit the team's long-term timeline. Whether the Lakers make any effort to convince him to stay or simply accept that his time in Los Angeles has run its course will become clearer in the coming months. As Wednesday's game in Cleveland demonstrated, emotions run high whenever James returns to the city that drafted him. The Cavaliers organization honored him with a tribute video that visibly moved the veteran forward, and the crowd showered him with appreciation despite his wearing visitors' colors. Whether that appreciation will soon be directed at him in a Cavaliers uniform once again remains one of the NBA's most fascinating unanswered questions. The next few months will determine whether LeBron James's remarkable journey comes full circle with a return to where it all began. The NBA landscape was shaken Wednesday when ESPN's Shams Charania reported that two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo is ready for the Milwaukee Bucks to trade him before the February 5th deadline. This bombshell revelation sent shockwaves through front offices across the league, with executives immediately beginning to calculate what it would take to pry the superstar away from Milwaukee. Several teams have already made aggressive offers to the Bucks, who are now listening to proposals after years of insisting their franchise cornerstone was untouchable. The development marks a dramatic shift in the NBA's trade market dynamics heading into deadline week. According to Charania's reporting, the Bucks have communicated specific expectations to interested teams regarding the return package they would require. Milwaukee has indicated they want either a blue-chip young talent or a surplus of draft picks in any deal involving Antetokounmpo. The organization has also made clear they're not in a rush to complete a transaction, expressing willingness to navigate the situation into the offseason if their price point isn't met before the deadline. This patient approach gives the Bucks leverage, as waiting until summer would allow them to evaluate which teams can offer more appealing draft picks in June when additional selections become available for trade. For the Los Angeles Lakers, the prospect of acquiring Antetokounmpo presents both tremendous opportunity and significant challenge. Pairing him with superstar guard Luka Doncic would create one of the most formidable duos in basketball, combining elite scoring, playmaking, and defensive versatility. However, the Lakers face a harsh reality when it comes to assembling a competitive offer. The franchise lacks the stockpile of assets that other contending teams possess, having already traded away significant draft capital in previous transactions. Their most valuable trade chip would be Austin Reeves, a talented guard who fits Milwaukee's desire for a blue-chip young player, but even including Reeves plus whatever future picks they can offer might not be enough to outbid rival suitors. The Golden State Warriors have emerged as the frontrunner in any potential Antetokounmpo sweepstakes, according to ESPN's Brian Windhorst. During an appearance on NBA Today, Windhorst explained that Golden State immediately rises to the top of the list of teams capable of making a straight-up trade with Milwaukee. The Warriors control all their future draft assets and can trade every single one of them if they choose. Additionally, they have an immediate need for a star player to maximize the remaining years of Stephen Curry's prime. Windhorst emphasized that all other interested teams will have to try beating a strong Golden State offer, positioning the Warriors as the clear favorite if Antetokounmpo becomes available. The Lakers understand they would most likely need to include Reeves as the centerpiece of any offer, along with leveraging their future with whatever surplus of draft picks they can cobble together. Unfortunately for Los Angeles, other teams around the league will almost certainly present better trade packages given the Lakers' depleted asset cupboard. However, the situation could change dramatically during the summer when the Lakers would have additional first-round draft picks available to include in trade discussion. The key question is whether Antetokounmpo will still be available during the offseason, or if he gets moved before the deadline to a team that meets Milwaukee's asking price now. Milwaukee's front office finds itself in an unenviable position despite possessing one of the game's greatest players. The Bucks lack young players on rookie contracts and don't control their own first-round pick until 2031. Their roster construction leaves little flexibility to improve around Antetokounmpo, and the franchise's repeated playoff disappointments have apparently convinced their superstar that change is necessary. The Bucks have approximately $61 million tied up in veterans whose contracts could be used as salary filler in various trade scenarios, but finding the right combination that satisfies both Milwaukee's demands and Antetokounmpo's destination preferences will require careful negotiation. For Antetokounmpo himself, this represents a pivotal moment in a career that has already included 2 MVP awards and 1 championship. At 30 years old, he's entering the prime window where superstar players typically try to maximize their championship opportunities. His willingness to request a trade signals his belief that the Bucks' current trajectory won't lead to the sustained success he desires. Whether he ends up in Golden State playing alongside Curry, finds his way to Los Angeles to team with Doncic, or lands elsewhere entirely will determine the balance of power in the NBA for years to come. The Lakers will almost certainly reach out to the Bucks, even if only to gauge what Milwaukee would want in return for their franchise player. General manager Rob Pelinka must weigh whether to make an aggressive push now despite limited assets, or preserve what resources remain for a potential summer pursuit when more flexibility exists. The next 7 days will reveal whether the Lakers can compete in the Antetokounmpo sweepstakes, or if they'll be forced to watch from the sidelines as one of the NBA's transcendent talents joins a rival contender.